this is a good way to start. I've got my good friend, Father Lars, and we haven't seen each other really since camp.
It's been so long, and I didn't even see this you because you had your beard then.
Right.
So I don't even know who I'm talking to.
A friend.
Who is this person?
Yeah, a friend said sorry for the Eucharist. What happened? I said, times are hard.
Times are hard.
No.
How's kind of romantic. Good. Yeah, good. Camp Webb is sort of, everything gets busy until Camp Webb, and then summer calms down, and then school year starts back up, and churches we're cruising. It's good. Yeah, doing well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Can you remember all the way back to camp?
Oh, easy.
It feels like a long time ago.
Yes, there's some things that I wish I could forget about camp, but I seared in my memory.
What do you remember most about camp?
No, what I remember most about camp is always the.
Sorry, while you're doing that,
Sure.
will you just make sure I spell your name right?
Yeah, Lars Skoglund. I can show you my fancy name tag over there.
I'm going to do this while you start talking. Watch this. I just learned how to do this.
Oh my goodness, that's me. That's me.
That's pretty great. So we're going to leave that up as you start. What do you remember about camp?
So what I always remember most about camp is the kids. I've been doing Camp Webb 4 or 5 years now as a counselor, and the kids are always what stand out. Building their relationship in the cabin through the activities through the week. This year was different because I was program director, so some of those significant relationships I built were actually with the counselors as well. Through staff week, and then kind of being a counselor for them. Just seeing, our theme, our ethos for Camp Webb. Reverend Liz Tesser, the director, always talks about kids being able to be wide open.
Yeah.
Just to be fully self-expressed, which is kind of CPE language, But it's about giving kids the opportunity, the space to just be themselves and be safe and be free and be loved. And seeing that happen is the highlight of my summer, really.
That's awesome.
To be able to create that space for them where they can do that. This year, that meant it felt a little wild and woolly at times. It felt a little.
Well, you were occupying from a different position this year.
That's true.
As interim director.
Yeah.
How did that change things for you?
Yeah. So a lot of my interactions with the kids were more of the, not discipline level, but at a sort of a bit of a remove of kind of keeping order, keeping things moving, keeping the program running. And a lot of the more deeper the relationship building for me happened with the staff and the counselors. And then hearing from them and enabling them to do the same thing with the kids in their cabins and through the activities of the week. And I think that happened. I think this year it felt a little more intense for good and for bad. The kids felt a little more self-expressed for good and for bad. Sometimes that means mischief.
Sure.
But I would rather have that than sort of everybody just kind of towing the line, getting by. I'd rather, for better or worse, like kids be themselves, so they can feel safe and loved. And yeah.
For you, what I'm curious. I think camp has its own spirituality sometimes. Yeah. How do you find sort of the context of camp shaping your own spiritual life or relationship with God during that time?
Oh, interesting. Well, I think one thing it does is I love working with kids. That's one of my favorite things to do. And so being able to serve, work and serve with kids directly is restorative to me and refreshing in a lot of ways. It's happened now, I think 3 years. I get back from camp and then there's a week and then I get sick. And then I think it's, just kind of the running on adrenaline, and it's also being around a lot of dirty kids.
Yeah. But they're really dirty.
They're really kind of gross. But no, it's refreshing. It's refreshing, and to be able to, because kids are so, they're so malleable is the wrong word, but they're more willing to be open. So those opportunities for, to see and recognize and speak God's presence, I feel like come not easier because they're hard earned.
Yeah.
But you also see the imprint of it quicker in some ways.
There are so, I mean, and you were alluding to this some when you're talking about creating a community where they can be self-expressive.
Yeah.
There are so few opportunities in the church for kids to be the main demographic.
Yeah.
To be in charge.
Yeah.
I mean, even I think of our largest churches in the diocese and in other places, like the best you can hope to do is like lift up the presence of kids in the community.
Yeah.
But when kids are the community, like that changes everything. All of a sudden we're wearing capes and
yeah, wearing capes and face paint and the highlight of my summer the last 2 years has been getting to paint my face like 1980s pro wrestlers.
Yeah.
Sting, Ultimate Warrior. It didn't happen this year, so I was a little let down. But
there were
when you're program director, you have to give up certain.
I thought you picked the theme to match like the whole, because the theme was superheroes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if y'all know this about Lars, but like you could break me.
No.
Right no, you couldn't because you're too kind. You have the heart of Jesus inside you, but he can lift a lot of weights, and so I thought he picked that theme to match. But it turns out he didn't.
No. I wanted the theme to be huge for God, and just have T-shirts with
like swole.
Yeah. Just the verse, physical training is of some value, and then just leave it at that. Don't go on about the spiritual training part. No, the theme of superheroes is, I really appreciate you having you as chaplain because of the tack. We talked a lot about this, the tack we took into that theme of superheroes. Because for me, in my experience, both growing up in church and, even now, sometimes when we think about, superheroes of the faith, saints, when we look at the lives of people in the Bible, the lives of Christians past or stories from the scripture, and we say, well, this person was a superhero. Look what they did. And I think that has a way of actually distancing us from the story sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you see these great acts of faith and these great, martyrdoms. I'm like, well, I could never do that. That's not something that's in me or that I could do.
But then you read more of their stories and you're like, they didn't do that either.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
they had their moments. They needed that too.
Yeah. So the approach of superpowers, this idea of the superpowers, the gifts we have in Jesus, that you took, that make us able to do these things, that make us able to forgive, to sing, that we all have in Jesus. So making it, I think that was a really good way for the kids to say, this isn't something for some superhero, some person in a comic or up in a stained glass. These superpowers are for all of us, and these are things that we can do every day. I really appreciate your approach to that, and I think that really resonated with the kids for a theme that could go a lot of different directions.
Yeah, no thanks. It was a meaningful week for me to be able to be. I mean, so much of camp. When I was a kid, I went to camp, but I didn't necessarily love camp. Fell in love with camp in West Texas. Camp Capers is like their cathedral. That's how they talk about. They don't have a cathedral, so Camp Capers. And I was at the church very close to it, so did a lot of resourcing to the counselors and stuff. But every camp is different. Every camp has the culture, and you were blessed to work with. The staff was amazing.
The staff's amazing.
I mean, I hope it doesn't take away. I don't want to say understaffed because it wasn't understaffed. But it was a bare bones staff.
Yeah. People do a lot of different things.
They were not bare bones people.
No.
They were amazing.
Amazing people.
And the way they kind of welcomed anyone who was new, me and other people, into that culture and just kind of helped everyone find a place and then do a new thing too together.
Yeah.
It's really great. If you haven't gone to camp,
you're
probably not watching this at 11:30. But if you know like a grandkid or a kid or something who hasn't come to Camp Webb and is in the area, like you should think about that.
Yeah, and if you want to serve and be a part of camp, but if you're not at camp age to be a camper, if camp is still something that you care about and you're interested in and you want to be involved in this kind of thing, also contact me or contact the Reverend Liz Tester. It's in Watertown.
We can tell them how to contact. How would they contact Liz? We'll just put her name here.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have her email. I have my
Liz Tester. That's not Liz. But that's who is the director of camp.
Yeah.
I should have said that all.
director on the program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's who you can
And then
contact.
I can. Is it weird to put my contacts on?
No. How would they contact you?
Yeah. LD.
LD.
SK.
SK.
OG.
OG.
LUND.
At
Gmail.
Gmail.
Yeah. And so, if you have a gift, if you have a heart for kids, and if you have a gift of music, a gift of being with kids, of creating community, a gift of a heart for making people know the love of Jesus, we want you as part of our team. So that could be support staff, that could be playing instruments, leading worship. The opportunities are endless as we sort of think about how to make this the best place for the kids going forward. Yeah,
it's a 2-week commitment right now.
Yeah. So some of those support staff positions don't necessarily have to be 2 weeks.
Sure,
it's something we're still thinking about, dreaming about. But yeah, to be a counselor is a 2-week commitment. So 1 week of staff training where we plan camp. We like doing it that way because it gets the counselors invested, and we do what matters to them and is important to them. And then we have a week of camp for the kids. So yeah, and so watch this Diocesan Milwaukee page, watch the Camp Webb page for registration information, camp dates, camp theme. So it will be coming soon.
So it'll all be coming up very soon. Can I ask you? We've been doing some other conversations with friends. We've been at the Patience of Trees page, which is just a separate spin-off. But in the video conversations, we've been developing 3 questions for everyone we talk to.
Okay.
Can I run by you?
Yeah, sure.
For
approval or for app?
No, I mean you can tell me if you have better questions.
No.
If you have other questions, you can ask. So, but they're just kind of like rapid fire. First thing you think of. Okay. All right. So the first question is, let me see. This is still early for me. I'm a campus minister. The first question is, what's one thing you think Christians should talk more about?
Jesus. It's just always Jesus. And if we're not talking about Jesus when we're talking about all the other things that matter, they don't matter as much. It all kind of begins and ends with Jesus.
Yeah.
I know that's like the churchiest answer ever.
But all right. So it is the church's answer, but you're the second person in a row that I've talked to who's given it.
Yeah.
And in giving the answer, so I don't think it's a bad answer because it's a church answer.
Yeah.
I think there's a reason people in the church have to say it, right? Because I said, what do you think Christians should talk more about? If the answer was Jesus, but everyone's already talking about it, so you're saying there's room for improvement.
Yeah.
Which is just on it. I think the church always needs to have this kind of confessional willingness to examine ourselves and then say, oh, we could do that better.
Yeah. Specifically, I think we need to talk about how we are living Jesus' life and dying Jesus' death. Because that's what as Christians, that's what we're given. It's not an escape from death, but we're given his death instead. Not a death that's final, fatal, but a death to sin. And not a life that's just where we got to create meaning and we got to create our ideas of justice and we got to create our ideas of a happy community. But we have a resurrection life where even the darkness of the tomb can bring forth new life. So, yeah.
That changes.
Not to preach or anything.
It's a good sermon.
it's like more good sermon.
Right. No, but I can't think of any area of the church's life or my life or the world's life that doesn't speak to. Yeah. All right, second question. What is a spiritual practice that you think deserves more of the church's attention?
So yeah, it's like the stereotypical Episcopal, is the office, is the daily office. I think and not just the daily office, but space in there for contemplative, quiet prayer. I think the life of prayer is the life we're called to as Christians. Prayer, giving ourselves to God in that way, presenting ourselves before God so that God can speak to us, so we can hear from God. I think the offices, especially the routines and rhythms of the offices, are such a blessing and a gift. They haven't to me. I know in ministry, if things don't start in and come from and are surrounded by prayer, they're just sort of empty. So I think the offices, they're not just. It's not just for monks. It's not just for priests. That's the genius of the prayer book. Is these offices are for everyone.
Yeah.
And the rhythms of them, and the way they get scripture in you, and the way we can pray God's words to God. They're just beautiful. And they're part of the reason I'm Episcopalian. So I love them.
Hey, come on in. Or am I missing something? No. They should.
Point of order, sir.
Well, I don't know. They have to do that, right?
Yeah.
Are we allowed?
So there's only one person nominated. I'm going off, and you're off, right? But you're
Right.
actually listed as a standing committee member.
Maybe they haven't processed my resignation. So you're getting to see inside the.
Oh, the sausage is made.
How?
You want to see the bell? It's really interesting.
I don't know how to make that point of order. I really don't, because I don't know Robert's Rules of Order. Do you know Robert's Rules of Order? It's what you have to know. It's like the language. That's why.
Who's Robert anyway?
I don't know any Robert. If there's a Robert in Episcopal Church, I'd go by Bob.
Do you want to make that?
I don't know how to make that.
Someone needs.
Does someone on the
This is my problem. I told David this a month ago.
tell David? Would you tell David?
Just sneak up. Very sneaky.
Because he knows that you don't.
I sneak, but I'm not sneaky.
David Simmons knows the language,
He knows it.
and he's president of the standing committee. And so I sent my letter. So as long as we're doing inside stuff, inside baseball, Bishop Nard, my bishop, your bishop, came to Seth and me at a standing committee meeting a while ago and said, this is an important thing that I would like to say. St. Francis House is a ministry of the Diocese of Milwaukee, which means I work for the diocese, which means the ministry is communication that the diocese thinks campus ministry is an important thing, which I am thrilled with and all about. So the bishop, because of the canonical change back a couple years ago, it became weird for members of dioceses to have to be on stage.
Oh, okay, yeah, technically.
So it's this little technical weirdness, and so respect for the bishop's preference there. I stepped down and Seth came off. So that's what he's referring to. It's just jargon stuff. All right, so where were we?
All right,
Daily office. All right, so the daily office.
Jesus and the daily office. Are you talking to an Episcopal priest right now? I can imagine that.
So
I just noticed that I'm sitting way further back. See, it's so much bigger.
I have
very
to.
sensitive.
I have to compensate. I'm scrawny next year.
So you know that we're in the office of my former wrestling coach? I didn't go here, but he came here after
I was very excited. They told me, I said, "Can I have the space to do this?" And I thought it would be pretty good outside. And they said, "Count on that. It's Wisconsin in October." So instead, they said we have a study office.
Aging office, yeah. It's not so bad.
So you're talking about some really specific and beautiful things that come out of the office. Yeah. Also, just something I've been thinking of along that same note, but more the form of, because I think and I don't mean to diminish the content at all, but the discipline of stability, or the gift of stability. And I think we undervalue, I know in 2017 we undervalued that, the gift of stability, the gift of when something gets routine or even boring. I'm not saying the daily office is boring. I'm going to say that
You can.
but then to develop through practice and experience the sense that now is the exciting time. Now is when it gets good, because now I'm being asked to live the life and death of Jesus. So St. Francis House is putting together a scholarship. Actually, an alum back in the day gave $66,000 to the University of Wisconsin, and St. Francis House stewards it. That's the way it's set up. So we got to set up what does the application look like for youth that we want to be applying for the scholarship, and we decided we wanted to incentivize holy friendship, holy movement, which is getting out and doing something, getting out and go to camp or go on a mission trip, or get out of your house and do something for Jesus. Not for Jesus, with Jesus, follow Jesus. Jesus.
Somebody said that once, follow me.
Yeah, right. And then the third thing we have with holy wisdom, holy friendship, holy movement is holy stability, which is give some examples of where you just showed up, and showed up even when it wasn't the most exciting thing. And showed up.
I know in my own life, I think, so there's a couple of things we think worship is supposed to be purely expressive.
Yeah.
And, praying in office over and over again isn't expressive, but it's formative. It forms and shapes us. So worship is formative, and it creates this habit of being with God and talking with God and relying on God, even if we don't feel it.
Yeah.
Because that need for God is still there. And I said before, I grew up in a more evangelical tradition, and they think all this liturgy stuff is a little strange. Doesn't it? Don't you get stuck in a rut? And I said, well, I hope so. Like, I hope I get stuck in. I hope I get stuck in a really, like, I want to create a direction, a rut towards Jesus, and I want to be stuck in that.
That's so.
I don't want to be a slave to how the whims of the day or how I feel. I want to be in a rut, in a habit of prayer. That's what the offices offer us.
Well, it makes me think of, getting stuck in a rut. We do hope for that. We think it's more than a rut, but it feels like a rut sometimes. Sure. It makes me think of William Kavanaugh, who talks about the difference between negative and positive freedom.
Yeah.
So negative freedom is like, you want to play the guitar, and so the U.S. Constitution tells me I can't break your guitar. Sure. But I can not break your guitar on. Then I have to reimburse you for your property. Sure. You can sue me. But if you like me, not breaking your guitar doesn't make you a musician who can express out of your being. That takes the rut of practice, showing up, learning from others, being mentored. Yeah. All right, so I need to finish my 3 questions with you, but also I'd love to hear how your experience with Jamie Smith was. And get around to talk about that. So the last of the 3 questions. So thing we should talk about more. Lars says Jesus. Practice is the daily office. Finally, Karl Barth says that laughter is the closest thing to the grace of God. What makes you, Lars, laugh?
I got 2 answers. So, like, my nephew, I have a 3-year-old nephew who's just like a delight, and he's hilarious. He's precocious and clever, and he's always wants to FaceTime me, and he's just hilarious. He shows me his pom-pom. He's just cute. He's just the greatest. My folks just sent me a picture. My sister sent me a picture. She said he's been sitting here for 2 hours looking at the Lego kit. And he's just like, he's sitting there just in the phone. Yeah, he's...
My son just discovered Legos. It's all over for me.
Yeah, it's all new. Yeah. Well, it's easy because you have birthday presents lined up for birthday Christmas presents lined up for the next 10 years.
Yeah, but everyone in the family is lining those up, so it means I've got assembly help. Except he doesn't need my help anymore. You know what he still needs my help for is pulling them apart.
Oh yeah, they make a brick separator? No, they do. And Christian loves it. He uses it.
That's called
it's called Dear Teeth. That's what we use.
It's called a dad illuminator. Like, dad gets a brick separator anymore.
Yeah. So that, and then silly cat videos on YouTube. Or like hippo videos. There's one of those hippo. Yeah. I had a roommate in seminary, and I'd be sitting in my room reading, of course. And I'd hear this just giggling, and starts as giggling and bursts into full-blown laughter for hours. I said, Evan, what are you doing over there? And he'd be watching my cat videos. And
that's awesome.
Sometimes you just need that.
Sometimes you need to laugh at cats.
Sometimes.
Or with cats.
I'm deathly allergic, so I can't have my own.
We're voting?
We're voting.
We're voting.
How
does that work?
I gotta go
voting.
Thank you for this time, Jonathan. Thank you, Father. Thanks for being with us this summer. And Camp Webb, watch this space.
Okay.